Are we not dead to sin once we become alive to Christ? Are we not dead to sin once we become alive to Christ? Let us not use our bodies as instruments for sin. Let us not use our bodies as instruments of sin. Are we not dead to sin once we are alive to Christ? Oh, if you're gonna give yourself over to the ways of the world for their uses, if you're gonna give your body over as an offering to something, offer yourself to the Lord. Offer yourselves to the Lord. Let yourself be a slave to His righteousness. Let yourself be a slave to Christ, because you're gonna be a slave to anything you obey. You're gonna be a slave to anything that you obey. Let us not use our bodies as instruments of sin. Let us not offer up our members for the use of it. So if we give ourselves over to one thing called sin, we're going to reap a harvest, just like when you sow in the fields if you're a farmer. Whatever you sow to, you'll reap something from, whether you sow your time into helping children, whether you sow your time into watching loads of Hulu.com, whether you sow your energy into making, cooking things for people, for example. Or you sow your energy into building a house, or you sow your energy into lifting a heavy burden off of somebody, or you can sow your energy to serve your own self, whether that be to make a business or to work out, to sculpt your body into a fantastic delicacy for the eyes, or you can just concentrate all of your time into one area of life to the exclusion of all other areas. All that to say, we're going to sow into the way of righteousness or the way of sin. And we've been given this opportunity to not be a slave to sin anymore. Sin leads to death. Death, not just physical death, but death spiritually and death mentally and emotionally, because our minds become depraved and our minds become foolish and tainted and jaded by darkness. But since we have been given this opportunity to be free from the old pattern of life, when we died in baptism with Christ, we raised as He did to newness of life, so that we can not be a slave to sin, but we can actually be a slave to God. We can be a slave to Jesus Christ. And therefore the law of God is written in our hearts, and we operate out of freedom, and we follow the Spirit, because the Spirit now that lives within us, the same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead, can lead us into all truth, and we can follow Him and automatically produce righteousness, which leads to eternal life.